In my last video, I teased something that I actually had in the background. No one has made a comment on it up to now. And what I was talking about is that if you find a unique piece that is, it has the potential to be a cornerstone of someone's collection. And if you can find that at the right price, in the right condition, by all means, you need to kind of put together a deal to bring it home. So what I'm talking about is the blue box, the BC13 collection. This, as far as I can tell, is an early 1984 UK edition. I will say that this thing is in incredible shape. The only thing that actually shows any wear is the box, and that's kind of typical. You can see that right there. But still in great working order. The flip top. This thing is still very tight. I've seen some of these where these have been ripped off or heavily damaged. I'll tell you about where I got this, and we'll kind of run through all the albums really quickly. First of all, props to Charles at Driver 8 Records in Fort Collins. I don't know if it's his location in the old town of Fort Collins or Kismet or what, but the story on this is that it walked in with a collection. A guy had actually picked up this and a lot of other records in a collection in Texas, and apparently this collection had originated in Mexico. I don't know the full story on it. Maybe we'll get Charles on camera sometime and we'll talk about it again, but it was trucked up, sourced from Mexico into Texas. A relative had it. This guy knew the person in Mexico. I believe it was a lady who said, "Hey, I've got all these records. I think I'm going to throw them out." And he said, "Hold on. Let me bring them back up to Fort Collins." And he was coming to town or something. Maybe we'll get Charles. We'll get the whole story. But let's roll through these. If you're not familiar with the BC13 collection, the important thing to remember about this is this was the last time that the stereo original master tapes in the UK, it's the last time that pressings were cut from those original stereo master tapes. And they were cut by Harry T. Moss. You will find HTM and the Dead Wax on all of these. This box originated in 1978, and I think it finally went out of print in 86, 87. Discogs is pretty complete, although there's still a lot of missing information on the different years that this was available. Let's take a look at the first one. The real knock on this collection is the BC13 box is that we don't have the old style flip back covers, but these are true to form as far as the original artwork. These were the original UK artwork on the original UK albums as they were released. And the way that you can date this box is you have to open that inner bag, that inner sleeve, and there will be a little date code on the very bottom. So for me, all of these are dated either 1982 or 81. And it's weird because the second UK box was released, according to Discogs, in 1984. I may have to watch Andrew at Parallelogram Auctions. He's done several videos. His Beatles stuff is amazing. But he's done several videos on the actual BC13 box. And this was pressed by Capitol in the U.S. It was pressed in the Benelux countries, in Germany, So there are other issues of this box set available. Now, according to Andrew at Parallelogram and myself, I've dropped the needle on a couple of these records. And first of all, I was so pleased to find this thing because the records look like they've been unplayed. This was obviously, it must have been imported from the UK because Capitol, I think, did a limited run. But meanwhile, EMI were doing plenty of these boxes in the UK, and I think they started, maybe different record shops in the US started importing those in and selling them to the general public after the Capitol box had sold out, which was a numbered edition. This is not numbered. Anyway, those are, you'll see that these were all issued on the labels that were being used during that time period. So that is the 2 box with EMI and Parlophone there. Let's take out this record and I'll just kind of demonstrate how clean these are. It's amazing. Absolutely unplayed. Not a single needle mark near those holes. And this is also the short matrix as far as the dead wax information is concerned. Later editions, later in 84 and onwards, they had an elongated matrix. So these were still the short matrices. And again, everything cut by a Harry T. Moss, who is, widely acclaimed as doing a fantastic job on Beatles pressings. Please Please Me with the Beatles. A Hard Day's Night. Beatles for Sale. And this did have the open portion with the record here on under the second fold. And oddly enough, this actually looks to be a laminated cover. According to the notes and the descriptions, not all of these records were laminated, but this one I can definitely tell is a laminated cover. And, the artwork was produced quite well here, but the important thing is these are all analog cuts and the sound quality is just drop dead gorgeous. There is Help, Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper's, let's take a look at this inner sleeve. Date stamp 11 of 82 on this one. The White Album, and this does have the title, The Beatles, and it is embossed. I don't know if we're going to be able to pick that up. Later issues did not have the Beatles on here, period. So the fact that it's present here and it's embossed, it tells me that this indeed is the 1984 BC13. The poster and lyric sheet was included, as well as the fantastic portraits. Another telltale sign, later editions, this turned into a poster. You didn't have the individual portraits, so another sign that I have the 84. Yellow Submarine. This is the only cover that has a little, I don't know if it was a little bit of heat bleed from that box. You can see some of that blue ink from the box that's kind of bled onto the cover. Maybe a slight amount here as well on the top, but most notably here. But yeah, Yellow Submarine, Abbey Road, a great sounding pressing. It does not beat the -2-1 UK original that I already have in the collection. This is a -6-4, side A-6, side B-4. Let It Be. And finally, the only real bonus item that they included in this box that was kind of a big deal at the time, all of these kind of one-off singles, the Beatles rarities, and on the back you can see that this says not for sale. That is a sampler album, not for sale. This was originally released as a standalone release with a different cover. You've got your track listing there, everything from Across the Universe on side 1 to Rain, I Call Your Name, Long Tong Sally, I'm Down as well. So very, very cool. One more time, a look at this box. The actual box is here in really fine condition. Again, the records look like they've been unplayed. This thing is in near mint condition. It's selling on Discogs anywhere between $350 to $500 and up, depending on what box you have. But by all reports, the UK pressings of this box, the Dutch, the German, all of the European pressings sound absolutely amazing. And again, Harry T. Moss was the mastering engineer. And for all intensive purposes, as we sit here today in June of 2024, this is the last time that the original master tapes, the stereo master tapes in the UK, that's the last time that they were allowed to be used to press records. There's the famous, infamous, shall we say, 2012 stereo box that was released by the Beatles. Of course, there's the 2014 mono box, which I don't have in the collection. I do have a few odd titles. But yeah, that 2012 stereo box is, Andrew from Parlogram, one of his videos has him putting the box in a trash can. That was his basic thought on the sound quality and the mix. There's a big problem with the mix there. Kind of a misguided adventure from, actually, believe it or not, George Martin. Bloated bass, pumped up mid-range, and these things just don't sound great. I've never heard them, and I have no reason to go out and seek that. If you have that box and you think otherwise, please drop some comments. Let us know what you think. If you have the BC13, let me know. If you have a US Capital or a European or a UK version, apparently these were done in South Africa as well. But that's it today. Definitely a grail has entered campus here at the University of Vinyl. It's going to be displayed proudly on the shelf up here. And I still have to decide if I'm going to kind of file these records individually so I can play them and not kind of have to get this box down all the time. I don't know. Food for thought. Thanks, everybody. We will be back soon with more incredible vinyl collecting vinyls soon. Take care.